Hopefully you guys are doing well. It is Thursday morning and we are live on the Nasdaq watching NQU. On my screen I got the 1 minute and the 5 minute time frame, and man oh man oh man, did we have a giant move yesterday. I mean, we had just an incredible move. Not incredible in the sense of profits, because unfortunately I have a confession to make, and I'll make it here soon. But we had look at this. From the day's high, which was right here, to the day's low. Right here. 630 handles. Oh my, 630 handles. After you see a giant move like this, here's what I'm looking for today. I mean, my analysis is going to be pretty short and pretty simple. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for, after a giant move, I want a retracement up to 50%. That's really what I'm looking for. That's it. That's my analysis. Good luck. That's my analysis for today. There's obviously other things, and I want to show you what it looks like on the 1 hour here. But the 1 hour had some nice price action for indicators of kind of how order flow works. You can see how the price closed yesterday, and then it opened and it left this gap. That's a gap. That's the new day opening gap. I don't have it marked on here. I normally just mark the new week opening gap, but this is a new day opening gap. And then we created a fair value gap immediately following it. So the first time we dig into this fair value gap, what happens? We explode higher. We hit this swing high. We run through this fair value gap, 1 hour, and then we tag this fair value gap right here. So that single fair value gap gave it the energy to run higher. Now we retrace, we dig into it again, we consolidate, we dig into it again, and guess what we run into this time? We reach down into this void. We reached into this void, and then it gave that the energy to move higher. And now we just created equal highs this morning. So I use, and I've shared this in a previous video, I think about 2 days ago, if you want to go back and watch it, where I explain how I like to use fair value gaps. And this is just an indication on a higher time frame how I like to use them. Is we use them as areas to find support and resistance that gives price energy to run higher or lower. And that's exactly what we saw this 1 hour do this morning. Is it found support, exploded, came back down, grabbed the liquidity, and we are digging into this volume imbalance, and then we explode higher, making equal highs. And now as we are going, we are moving away from these equal highs. This is going to be nice. I think we may have a setup coming up, guys. See buy side sitting right here. We just left equal highs. I would love to take a trade off of that, if we can get it. Okay. So that's kind of where we're sitting. We got 5 minutes till open, and I'm bullish for the morning. I'm really wanting to reach for the data highs that are sitting right around 2289, 2290, 20,290. That I think is my target. And why do I have that as my target? If you go to the hourly, it's easier to see on that. It would be this high to this low, the equilibrium. Okay. Now I'm watching this right here. We got a 30-second and a 1 minute. Good morning, John. Good morning, Adam. Glad to have you, my friends. Glad you're here. Hopefully you had a better day than I did yesterday. As I shared a little bit earlier, I have a confession on my P&L to share with you guys here. I'll go over it here in a little bit. All right, so here we have two fair value gaps, one here and two here. If we go over to the 2 minute, we have one fair value gap here, which I'm going to mark out the 2 minute. But we're also looking at the 1. I kind of want the 2 minute to close. So why do I like this? We went aggressively away, and now I want to see if we can aggressively inverse this to run to this buy side. Masato, good morning. Hey. Hope you're having a good day, man. Now, open is going to be in 2 minutes. And then once open happens, I'm going to mark our opening day gap, which we're going to have quite a large opening day gap. I think it's going to be roughly from 20,000. It's going to be over 100 handles. So it's going to be a large opening range gap. Not sure if that's going to be, I don't know how big of a factor that is. When you have such a large opening range gap, that's usually telling us where it wants to go. Okay, so it's telling me here. Let me mark this real quick, because this will help. This is the level I just marked, this black line right there. And this is going to be our opening range gap that we're going to have, roughly. That is a very large opening range gap. So when you have such a large gap, yeah, some of it's going to be retraced, but it's harder to target. And because it's harder to target because you have such a large range, you got to understand, why is this gap here? This gap here is because price is wanting to run the other direction. So it also is an indication on where price wants to move as well. We just have to be careful how we use it as far as future projections, as well as using it as a draw on liquidity or a draw on filling an imbalance, because that's what this is. This is an imbalance in price from the regular trading hour sessions. And usually you want to see that filled. I don't know if it's going to be filled right away. So there's the open. And there's that price right there. Okay. So 5 and 15-minute breaker, 5 a.m. Let's check out the 15-minute breaker. Let's see what that looks like. Right here, yeah, I see that. Especially with this purge, I like it. I don't know. Let's drop down to the 5-minute. I think we'll find some support there, especially since the draw on liquidity is higher. I just don't know if I would want to take my stab and get in long right there, personally. You know, you could. We just left equal highs here too. Okay, so there's some equal highs. So let me mark those out. Okay, there's equal highs. This is equal highs. So I don't know where, I don't know if I would want to take a stab with this 15-minute. If I'm going to take it, I want it to be off of a level that purged the liquidity first. And that is way down here on the 5-minute. So let's go up to the 15-minute. Oops. You can see it's just dropping right now. So if I'm going to take a breaker, I want my breaker typically to be based off of the candle on a higher time frame that hit a key level. On a 15-minute, that's this candle right here. It's 6 a.m. This would be the breaker that I would want to focus on. And let's do this as a case study to see if what happens, because I honestly don't know. I haven't looked. All right, there's the 15-minute. And why am I choosing this one? Because it's the first candle that purged this volume imbalance. Hang on, before we do this. Here, we got a fair value gap sitting right here. I'll get back to this this breaker on the 15-minute here in a second. Good morning, DDT. How you doing? While we're waiting for this, we got 2 minutes. My confession. Let me share my confession. Ooh, confession. So provocative. Confession. What is the confession? I traded after the stream and I went on tilt. And I gave it a new term. I gave myself a new term. Subliminal tilt. I felt like I had it. I felt like I was under control. And for the most part, I was, but I didn't follow my rules. I overtraded. I didn't stop after I had multiple losses. Usually 2 losses, I should stop. My rule is I should stop, walk away from my charts at 2 losses. That didn't do it. Tilt, man. Tilt. Subliminal tilts. I mean, it's under the radar. Tilt is like, you know when somebody's going on tilt, in a public setting, they're just like rage monster type. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's obvious. Subliminal tilt is like, it's, you're cool, calm, collected, but, internally you may be raging, or you may even convince yourself that you got it all under control. So, good news is I still have my accounts. Thank you, Jesus. Bad news is, I lost $1,000 per account. That's 9 accounts, folks. 9 accounts. That was that says it's embarrassing. It's very embarrassing. Yeah, I know DDT. It gets us all sometimes, but man, after it happens, you just want to like literally slap yourself in the face, and it's like, come on, dude. After your second loss, walk away. And after my second loss, it wouldn't have hurt. I think it's because it didn't hurt that it's like, oh, it doesn't hurt. Let's just, let's see if we can get some of that back. And then the spiral begins. It was not fun. I was pretty disappointed. I really had to adjust I had to journal. I had to journal my thoughts, my feelings. I had to it's like when you are in those moments, it's like you got to be confident on who you are. We were talking about the power of our words yesterday. And I literally had to lean on that yesterday. Literally had to muster up, remember what the Word of God says about myself, what the prophetic words that I've received for myself, what I believe about myself, and really stand on God's promises, because when you are in those moments, holy cow, it's very, very hard. So guys, as you can tell, I'm just chit-chatting. Why? Well, we got some levels here. I don't think we could dump, we could run these lows, but I told you I'm bullish. I want to be bullish. If you came in late, I really have one goal, and that is to hit this 50% level. After you get a giant move lower, you're going to see one of two things, and maybe both: choppy price action and or a retracement to 50%. DDT is so hard because you want to get your losses back, then you're not following your rules, taking A+ setups. Yeah, 100%. Following. And my rules were, I was taking probably A setups, not A+. But I did two things that I normally don't, that I haven't done in a while, and that was overtrade, oversize, and not stop when I hit my my trade limit and my stop limit, or my loss limit. And I didn't do that. And it was it sucks. Adam, 20,018 equal lows might go before going up. You know what? Possibly. The only reason I'm not a giant fan of that, Adam, is because of this was the move. Look at this. This was the move. This had an inversion. This had an inversion that was a beautiful move. Let's go to the 1 minute. Okay. There's an inversion right here, right away. There's the inversion. Okay. Yeah, it grabbed this high, but we had highs here, and this was the move for the morning at 6:13. This also was the level that purged liquidity. So I'm less interested in that, but at the same time, I understand what you're saying too, because we have this giant range to fill. So maybe we go down to the 50%. I'm going to throw that out there. I'm going to throw this out there. I'm going to throw 50% out there. Maybe grab this liquidity here, sitting around this 50% level. Let's see what happens with that. I mean, I'm not taking a trade idea. I'm just price reading. And this helps me in the future to know, we have swing lows here, and we had the 50% level of the opening range gap. That might be an opportunity. I wonder if there's an inversion that you could go off of. Not right now. Not right now. All right. So as far as moves to the upside, I would love to take a long after we stab through this. Ooh, this is like extra hot. All right, looks like we're going to grab that liquidity. That's a swing low on the 15-minute as well. The 5-minute also, it's the swing low. There's the stab. I wanted to go back to this breaker. Let me go back to this breaker, okay? Let me go back to this. So we were talking about this 15-minute breaker here, or 15-minute level here. I want to go down to the lower time frames. This is a change in state of delivery. This also is on a 5-minute, I think would be a breaker. I'm not sure if it's going to be one on the 15-minute. But let's look here. All right, so there's that high. And look how after we broke above it, how we respected that level. Because that was the change in state of delivery on the 15-minute. Now let's drop to the 5-minute. Let's see if we can see a reversal here. We're not a good option here. All right, I'm going to put that there, just see what happens. So the 15-minute doesn't have it. I mean, guys, obviously my bias is wrong, right? As of this leg, my bias is wrong. I'm missing this whole move because I wanted to go higher. That happens. Happens. Sucks, but happens. Anything can happen. I'm waiting for longs after 10 a.m. Yeah? Dude, I mean, there's plenty of time and patience, man. I mean, because after my debacle yesterday, I think I'm gonna just go for one and done type trade. Here's midnight open. We just tagged midnight open. We changed the change state delivery. Let's see. We also have on the, let's look at the hourly here. Oh man. Look at that. I mean, was there, let's go through this. Was there an opportunity? I think the only opportunity we had was right here for an entry. Right up here. Did we even get that on the 30-second? We didn't get it on the 30-second. Did we have any other inverses? We didn't get one here because it grabbed the liquidity. Not as far as inversions go, not a single entry. As far as breakers go, I probably want to take it because we created to the tick, equal highs. I would not short against equal highs. I mean, look at this. We got equal highs here and equal highs here. I'm not trading against that. So I would not have been able to take any opportunities on this short, despite knowing that we may have some liquidity. So this it looks like we're filling that completely. 5-minute inversed. This small one here. Inverse this one as well. We grab liquidity here. Looks like we're probably going to run for these lows. Based on this candle, we should run these lows right here. So who said that this morning? Adam, you were on point, man. On point. Boom. That's it. That's probably looking like what it's going to be. But still, there wasn't an entry for me. No entry, at least to the downside. Let's get rid of the 15-minute. I don't think I want the 15-minute on here. It's just a little messy. I mean, this is good overall price action, and it's a decent range. We're talking, dang, that's like 120 points. I had an entry on the 30-second chart, but hesitated sadly. For the long, are you talking about the 945 candle? And we're in the macro time, so I want to see what happens here. There's nothing obvious here. All right, so I want to bring you guys down to the 5-minute. Okay, so the 5-minute is right here. And this is what I like. I'm going back to, was it you, John, that talked about the breaker? Here's the 5-minute. So if I'm going to take a 5-minute, this is new information for me. This is new data as I've been studying. This is just something new that I'm wanting to try to incorporate more. If I'm going to take a breaker, I want to take the breaker based on the higher time frame candle that purged the liquidity, that filled the imbalance first. The first one. That would be this candle at 610. 610 hit this volume imbalance first. Okay, so let's drop down to this candle here. 610 was, or that 610 5-minute candle, here is that high. As soon as we close above that, and that close would have been at 620. Here's 620. Oh, we're on the 30-second. No, I don't want to go on the 30-second. Okay, let's see where we at. As soon as we closed above that at 620, right here. Now I'm looking for us to come back down to this level, because that change in state of delivery on the 5-minute now is your breaker. We got our low, high, lower, low. Because it was a single candle that purged it. When we break it, that's our breaker. And guess what happens? We hit it, fair value gap, and then we explode higher. That is my ideal. John, tell me if this makes sense to you or if you have questions, because I've really liked looking at my breakers this way, because it's allowed me to eliminate a lot of crap patterns or crap breakers that are sitting there that may not actually be legitimate. And you could do this on the 5-minute, you could do this on the 15, the hourly. All of this makes sense. But when you are waiting for the change in state of delivery, you have to wait for the time frame you're on. So if I'm on the 5-minute, I'm waiting for a 5-minute candle to close above the level to create the change in state of delivery, which that then creates the breaker, which we have low, high, lower, low, break higher. There's our entry to go long. That's more I think I'm leaning more of that style as I'm developing my language for my breakers. But for me, it has to be abundantly clear. CM, I mean, it technically didn't fill in the new day opening gap 100%, maybe what it wants. You're right. So you need to be careful on the technically. Do not marry it filling it completely, because it doesn't always do that. It doesn't always do that. If we were here, let's go to the opening range. So you could I'm on the regular trading hours right now. You could really often, you could see price just run to this level here. Run to those levels, right? This was the other day. The real gap was from this high to the open because there's nothing here. And if it goes lower than that, it's subjective on how far it wants to go. I don't know how far it wants to go, but it's subjective. I'm not going to lie. I really am happy that I'm seeing that in the 5-minute, because it's confirming into me that I really want to stick with how I identify my breakers. I think I'm going to update that in one of my videos. We had an inversion right here on the 948 candle that failed. Do we have anything on the 30-second? So we have a 30-second inversion right here that's still active if anybody's in that. If anybody's in that, you're going to want to, you would have went short right here. You want to move your stop to break even as soon as you hit this level right here. As soon as we hit that level, you want to move your stop to break even. I didn't see this setup, so I didn't take it. I don't know if I would want to take it, to be honest. But we're going to watch it play out just to see where order flow is. Because if it fails, that's a good sign for a move in the other direction. All right, so stop to break even at that point. And we're targeting that low, or you're looking for that, or you're looking for this swing low right here. So at this point, the reason I like inversion so much is because you can get free trades quite often if you follow your rules. And that was my mistake yesterday. So if we hit that low, that's 27 handles. We grabbed liquidity there. Hopefully you took some profit if you're in that. I wasn't. Yeah, Sons of Rhythm. No problem. So we had a purge of liquidity here. That's your purge of liquidity. We swept liquidity. That's one of my rules for inversions. The second is you look to the leg that we're going down on, and you go to the lowest fair value gap. That would have been this one. That's on the 30-second. If we go to the 1 minute, let's see if it's there on the 1 minute. It's not there on the 1 minute. So your 30-second, then what we're looking for is the body at the 9:51 and 30 seconds, 9:51 and a half. We're looking for that candle to close below the lowest fair value gap in the leg that created the high. This leg created that high. It purged that liquidity. And then it aggressively moved the other way and inversed it. So we are doing two things. Right when that happens, we set our entry at the close. We stop out if the body closes above that fair value gap, which it doesn't. It gets really close to it, but it doesn't close. Once we hit this level here, the first swing low, we move our stop to break even. So at that point on this candle at 9:54, you should be moving your stop to break even and or taking profit. It's taking some profit or lots of profit. That would have been 9 handles, so that would have been a good place to take profit. Then you're moving your stop to break even if you have multiple contracts, and then you're targeting this low and then ideally this swing low here, or that swing low, which would grab the liquidity from this morning. Now it didn't get that low, but it still would have given you 20 handles on that initial swing low before the higher time frame low. So give me a 1 if that makes sense, why that was a setup and how that we identified that. And give me a like on the stream if you want. No sweep of the lows yet, but respecting the new day opening gap from 6:55 to 8 p.m. on the 5-minute chart. Yeah. So now, Sons of Rhythm, thanks. I'm really struggling. Entry on trend channel low. Trend channel low. Okay, well, let me expand on it here. Would you take this entry? You wouldn't take it on the 9:55, but would you take it at the 9:57? The answer for me is no. If I was going to take one, I would have taken this one, but we were talking about going the other direction. That's too high, number one. Number two, we didn't grab this major level here to sweep that low. We just created equal lows on the downside now. And this is really high, and it probably doesn't even give me... It only gives me 4 handles, so I wouldn't even want to take that risk to get 4 handles. I would want something that's closer to 10 handles for me to consider that. I don't want to take risk for 5 handles, to be honest. I want 10 handles. So now that we just swept that high, we may see another purge lower. If we see a purge lower, we have that fair value gap sitting right there. It to me would be an A setup. Why? Because we literally just purged this, but we didn't grab this low. And maybe I'm a little biased on my rating because we have those equal highs really high and we left them. Good morning, Mags. How you doing? I hope you're having a good day. Hopefully yesterday was a good day trading for you. You know, traders will say, I hope the trading gods were good towards you yesterday. Now, the answer is no. There is no trading freaking gods. There's only one God. That's my Lord. But he says that I will prosper at everything I set my hands to. He says that he's given me the ability to produce wealth. So those are my promises that I stand on. Not that the trading gods are in my favor. No. Bunch of crap. Look at this on the 5 minute. 5 minute, it looks like this is the signature of a market maker sell model right there. Do you guys see that? See that swing low and then price comes up and hits it? That makes me like this. I do like this. I'm hesitant because we're already really low on this range. We're already in discount. We're in extreme discount. So I don't know if I want to go short. What I mean by extreme discount, I mean this. From that high to this low. And if I put in our quarters, so anything below 0.25 is extreme discount. So we're in extreme discount. This is where I want to be looking for longs. So to preserve capital and to take not risky trades, this is where I should be looking for a long. That's some aggression. Now we're gonna grab these. We swept this once before, but it looks like we're gonna sweep it again. And if we sweep it this time, it's gonna be aggressive. Are we missing anything here? Here's a 30-second that closed right here. So it's just, we're still too high. I missed that. Nice sweep. That would have been a nice 30-second handle. Do you guys see that? Ah, man. You just gotta, for this inversion strategy, you really have to, that would have been nice. That would have been nice. I missed that. Five-minute closes in 23 seconds. I want to see if we close above that. If we close above that, that would be indication of order flow. It doesn't look like we're going to get that. So maybe a signature for lower prices. Too early to tell. Let's look at the 15-minute here. 15-minute and the hourly. Oh, no, just the 5-minute. The 15-minute still. We just stabbed into this 15-minute fair value gap. So that could give us the energy to move lower. We still have 9 minutes left to see what happens with this candle, though. We'll see what happens with the 15-minute candle. We'll check back on that. Somebody remind me in about 10 minutes to look at the 15-minute here. So let's go back to the 5-minute. 5-minute didn't close all the way, but price is still looking quite bullish, especially after that purge lower. Give me a second, guys. Adam, how long have you been streaming? As in like today? Today I've been streaming for 47 minutes. How long have I been streaming altogether? I've been streaming in total about 2 months. All my streams are on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and you hit the live tab, you can go all the way back to the very first one. We have some relatively equal highs here. They're really small 1 minute. Oops. There's really no 30-second here. We have low resistance liquidity here towards these equal highs. Do we got a 2 minute? 2 minute is right here. That just closed above. Now that I'm seeing it a minute into it, I'm not interested as much into it because the 5 minute also didn't close above it. I really want to see this 5 minute, guys. If we are in a market maker sell model and this level that I marked out right here is in fact part of a market maker sell model, we should see this candle in 2.5 minutes close relatively wickish. A large wick to the upside. If that's the case, I will look for short. I will look for a short. Did you view the 1 minute 950 candle breaker? John, 951. Yeah, so you're looking right here. That's a great question. Let's see. We never grab liquidity. The only candle that grabbed liquidity on the 1 minute was this candle right here. And look what we did end up hitting that 1 minute, but, or just barely. This is the only candle on the 1 minute. So let's go to the 5 minute. This is the 5 minute. The 5 minute is high here. Yeah, on the 5 minute, that would be the case. That would be the high of the 5 minute. We did close above that on the 10 a.m. candle, so this could be viewed as a breaker. Now, you may see price come a little bit lower, maybe into this. I like that. Now, because this is something new for me, John, I think I want to identify it beforehand and I want to see price actually play out. I may not take the trade because anytime I add something new, I just want to see it happen enough to, give me the confidence of it. Past price action always is helpful, but especially when I'm reading it, there's a level of uncertainty when you're seeing it for the first time. So I want to see what happens here. If we get an aggressive candle lower and then it closes here, 100% I'd take that. It all depends on how the candle reacts with these levels. But I do like this. We got the low high, lower low breaker. It's the 5 minute candle there. We have a fair value gap sitting here. I do like that. 1 minute. Let's look at the 2 minute. The 2 minute came down into this fair value gap already, but didn't hit the breaker. It did hit the fair value gap that's sitting right above it, though. So that could be enough for it to already propel it higher. The 2 minute closed. That's interesting. We talked about that. 5 minute now is closed above it, so the 5 minute has closed. This is we're bullish, so yes, we are looking. That's an indication. So if we get a purge of liquidity right here, this would be interesting. A purge of these swing lows right here, this swing low right here. A stab into this. That would be interesting to take a look at. That's a 2-minute. New day opening gap tap and 10-minute 4-hour candle confluence. YM and ES clear bullish structure. Yes, I agree. It's just a matter of where you want to get in at. And what your entry strategy is. I think we are moving up. I think we're bullish price action at this point. We got obvious targets, so it's a matter of how do you want to get in? What's your entry strategy to get in? As long as you're following your rules on how you're getting in and what your entries are, then good. Take it in the chin if you lose, and then have the guts to walk away when you hit your loss limit, which I didn't do yesterday. So that's why I'm saying this out loud. I'm talking to myself here. I'm trying to figure out where I'd want my entry to be based on a 10 handle stop loss. That makes it hard because if I want to stick with a 10 handle stop loss with all the volatility, I need to make sure I'm low enough to where I'm okay with price. So I think where I'd want my stop loss to be is to be below the consequent encroachment or the mean threshold of this order block. So that would put my entry somewhere on the lower half of this fair value gap. So that means I may not get the entry, but this is me being really conservative as well. That's if I'm looking at taking this. It depends how price gets there. So, I mean, this has the signature. The only thing I don't like is that we made equal lows here, but we also made equal lows up here, and look what we did. Do you see what I mean? It's really hard to when you got multiple equal lows. I mean, especially on the buy side and sell side, it's 50-50 on where we're going to go. You know what I mean? It's 50-50. How do we know? I mean, I know I just said that I'm bullish, and I am because we have these equal highs, but man, I tell you what, having these equal lows here, and we already hit 50% retracement, so meaning if we were wanting to go lower, it retraced up to 50%, it could go lower right now. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's several different things, and you just got to have your bias. There's our breaker tap. Let's see what price wants to do. So this probably because of my loss yesterday, guys, but I'm 50-50. I believe we're going to go higher, but because we have these equal lows on the low and high, I do think we want to go higher. We hit this breaker, so the setup's there. It's just when you're 50-50 on something, it's better to stay out. This is low resistance liquidity, so tagging this, it would be nice. We did already tag this fair value gap once, and we did that at the 10:05 candle. So, yeah, that's nice. Good call, John. Good call, my friend. Even if you were to sell right there, I mean, you just got yourself 26 handles. I mean, that's a winning trade. Yeah, this is the 1 hour, John. Yeah, that's it is respecting, everything is respecting this 1 hour fair value gap sitting right there. But at some point, we're going to break it. I mean, I don't know how many times you can stab into it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So we did call out John, thanks to John. John called out the breaker sitting right here, which comes from the 5-minute time frame. The 5-minute candle is the first candle, or the candle that made the lowest low. So we take the high of that candle, we wait for price to break above it. Let's get rid of this stuff. We don't need that anymore. So we see price break above it at the 10 o'clock candle, and then all we're doing is waiting for price to come back down to tag it. It tags it here, 26 handles. We should have seen price go here. If it didn't run right here, then that tells me it may want to purge it just a little bit lower. I'm not sure if that's the case or not, but that is what we're looking at right now. The bodies can't even close into it. Oh yeah, you're talking about the 1 hour, 100%. It's weird. It's not weird. It's a signature and price, but it was this one here. Yeah, no bodies, except for the first one. It traded into it a little bit. I think, John, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade this breaker, but I'm going to trade it off of inversion. Does that make sense? I want to see an inversion made. Like if we a large fair value gap, bearish fair value gap, and that inversed, I'll take that long. And where this candle closes is very telling. We still got 22 seconds though on it. Okay, so it's a larger body. It's not as bullish of a reaction that I wanted. I wanted this to close above this fair value gap sitting right here, and it didn't. We did close below this, making this an inversion. So you'd see maybe this run this low right here, right? So I was bullish. We now have a bearish setup. I'm not going to take it. If you're bearish, then this would be your setup, right? So I'm not taking these shorts because I want to see a bullish move and I want to make a bullish play. Let's see if this one plays out though. Your entry would be here. If you have a close above this fair value gap, you're out and you're targeting this low right there. If this fails, this tells me that we either have choppy price action or we're going to reverse. Or, yeah, price action or we're going to reverse. Or consolidation. 3, I guess. If you guys are watching and you're like, man, this guy doesn't take any trades, I wish I took less trades. I wish I would just be one and done. That's what I want. So I'm willing to be as patient as I need to, and if I don't take one on stream, it sucks for you guys, but I'm willing to not take anything. Interesting, the large range is between a daily fair value gap. Yes, it is. And that is something that can create choppy price action. All right, so it looks like this is going to fail in 30 seconds. Let's see if it wants to. Then it's like, do I want to take a long off this? Well, not ideally because we didn't even grab this low here. But we did grab this liquidity here. So if we can see, is there an obvious 2 minutes? Probably the most obvious. All right, so that bearish setup failed. Still got a minute and a half left on this candle. There's another 1 minute fair value gap sitting right here. I really would want to take this. I just don't know if I want to jump in early. There's a 30-second that's still up here, so there's a 5-minute close. The only problem I don't like about this 2 minute is, look, what are we redelivering from? It wasn't a clear run on liquidity because it just doesn't show me anything good. So even if we close above this, I'm going to say I'm going to pass. 100%, John. Retracement and consolidate. That's why I want to see a higher move. I hope it doesn't close. Son of a gun. It closed. I'm not taking it. Oh, no, Mary, am I going to regret it? We still have a 1 minute sitting right here. We wicked up into it. And the 30 second, 30 second still also wicked up into that 30 second fair value gap. Yeah, I'm okay with not taking it. This breaker is still in play, technically. This whole thing is the breaker. But, I mean, I don't want to trade that large of a range. All right, so on back to the 2 minute, it looks like the 2 minute's going to fail. It just failed in 1 second. So I'm grateful I didn't take that. You see what I'm saying? So we really haven't seen any major displacement from this consolidation / choppy price action, just really lackadaisically glowing up and down. So I'm okay not taking that trade, and I'm happy now that it failed because it reaffirms to me I'm making the right decisions on waiting till there's an obvious move. We got to wait for those obvious moves. I really haven't at this point seen an A++ type setup yet. We had a great reaction off of this 5 minute or off of this breaker on the 1 minute time frame on the first introduction to it that ran 26 points. But that, because hindsight is 2020, this is not an A+ setup because it didn't really run liquidity. It just ran, it gave you 20 handles and then you're out. Okay, we didn't close on that 1 minute to this last fair value gap. This is the remaining fair value gap defending these lows. Now, if we closed below this, we probably would run this low and this low right here. But if we get overextended and we end up closing down here, that's I really don't want to trade that. I want to be as close to this black line as possible. So if we run and stab through this, grab these lows here, I would be very interested in a long. That's the kind of long I would want to take. All right, there it is. Okay, now I'm excited for a long. I want a long from this point. Now we may not get it. It may just might just want to run. We filled in the opening range gap. We filled in the volume imbalance completely. We just grabbed liquidity from yesterday's swing low from right as we went into the close, or as we went into the close of the day. And then our last potential area of liquidity is the previous day's lows. So if we want to keep going, my next target is previous day lows. And if we hit previous day's lows, I'm fine with the long at that point too. All right, so you look at this. I mentioned that I want to be as close to this box and this line as possible. Look how low we closed. That just doesn't give me an opportunity to go short because, I mean, my target here is only 7 handles. That's decent, but I've seen too many times on big candles like this where we're retraced the other way a little bit, and I did not want to hold a 21 handle retracement. Patience, my friends. Patience. Patience. Let's do a poll. Start a poll. There's no wrong answer. Have you taken a trade today? There's not a right or wrong answer. I'm just curious. I have not. So my answer is no, I have not. I'm still waiting here because I haven't had a clear entry. But if there's other models, type in yes if you've taken a trade. There's no wrong answer on this. I'm just curious. So yes, 67% of you. I don't know how many. I mean, we don't have that many people on stream, so it's a small pool. We're running these lows. I mean, look at that. We're gonna run it. There it is. There it is. So now I know what I've been talking about, and I know I was looking, but I just use this as another example. We had this 15-minute fair value gap. I mentioned that earlier, and I said I want to see how this 15-minute candle closed. Well, it did close a little wicky, a little bullish, but it was the first candle to go into this 15-minute fair value gap, and then the next candle starts moving the other direction. Because I play in smaller time frames, I just didn't have an option to go short, and I really wanted a bullish move, be with these equal highs. So not going to execute on it, but here's another example of how I like to use fair value gaps. The hourly really is nothing. It looks like we have 24 minutes before it closes. I mean, if we maintain this trajectory, we're gonna blow this fair value gap out of the water. I basically had my idea today, guys. I had my plan, and it didn't work out in my favor. That's basically what happened. Now I want to see. I'm just gonna do this real quick. There's one standard deviation from that manipulation leg. For those of you looking at John's text or comment, this is what he's looking at, is these equal lows down here. Going back to what I was mentioning though, John, I mean, if we run right here, this is going to be a lesson for me because normally I want to see this play out a little bit longer, so I would expect more consolidation before stage 2 is completed. So here's stage 1 of distribution. We're now in the prelims of stage 2 distribution. If we just run it right now and hit these equal lows, that's going to be something that I have not learned on why I would do that. But I would normally want to see more consolidation and manipulation in this area. I mean, it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. I just wanted to see after this giant move lower some type of retracement. And I'm not looking for much. I just wanted this to run. I wanted to run this. Didn't get it. All right, here's a 30-second. Now, I wouldn't take this, even though it's very bearish, and it'll probably work out because we just hit the previous day's lows. Okay, there's your entry. Stop to break even. See how heavy it is? So that 30-second played inversion played out to the downside, even though we hit it looks like we're just going to dump. John, I remember ICT talking about when price is heavy and has an objective to not expect price to reach back to 50% of most recent range in case back is true premium when bearish. Yes. I do remember him saying that. I mean, look at that. There's right 27 handles. I mean, no, you're not getting 27 handles of that because you don't know how far it's going to go. Well, did we just grab that liquidity? We did. We just purged liquidity right there. Swing low. So this was a sell side liquidity right here. Thanks, Matt. And welcome. I don't know how long you've been here. If you're just getting here, I'm glad you're here, man. I did have a nice break. It was a good time. Had stayed at a bed and breakfast. Spent some time with my wife. Had some great trading, and then yesterday I shared earlier in the stream. I had a confession to make. I went on tilt yesterday after stream. Had a very large loss. So I'm in drawdown right now. Still have all my accounts, thankfully, but went on subliminal tilt. Yeah, I would love to take this right here. That's what I would love to take. We're entering the macro. It's 11 a.m. It matches up with the 30-second as well, so that's nice. If we can get a nice move right here, I'll take this to this high. All we need was a real manipulation move above highs. One out if it comes to with a short. Oh, 100%, John. Oh, boy. My bias would have been hardcore short if we just ran these highs here and showed this leg here. I wouldn't have cared about this 50% if we grab these equal highs. That sucks. My name, Tyler Bundy. Tyler's my name. Oh yeah, what I use. I'll go over that here in a second. I think that was a message you sent. Did we get this right here? No. Here's our next liquidity, point of liquidity. 19.8. Here's a 30-second. Do we want to try a 30-second? You think the 30 seconds going to work again? After you just hit another, I mean, the 30-second worked here after we hit the previous day low. Is it going to work right here? There's your close. Who's taking it? I'm not. I want a long here. That is for sure. I mean, there's not an option here for this high. That would have been nice if we could get a fair value gap here into this high. But if we fail on a move lower, or we just sweep these lows and then go higher, this would be viewed at this down move would be viewed as a manipulation leg lower with a move back, maybe targeting the previous day low or this wick high. That is a very bearish sign right there with that large candle. This 30 seconds still working out, but who would have won a held through that 30 second, huh? That's yeah, that is still valid. 30 seconds still valid. I'm not taking it. Oh, that's a 4 hour. What am I doing on the 4 hour? Okay, there's our close.
Order filled.
I'm going to go long there.
Order submitted. Order
Stops
submitted.
at break even. Oh my gosh. Don't stop me out.
Filled.
Stop me out. Well, I had my stop at break even there.
Canceled.
It's just going to pump right there. I'm not opposed to getting back in this, depending on where price runs or what happens with price.
Order filled.
I'm going to take this on this little push higher and sell it.
Filled.
All right, I just sold on that. I shouldn't have moved my stop to break even so quickly. That was the play, guys. We waited, patient, it worked out. I got stopped out, got back in. 30 handles would have been the full trade. I didn't get that. I got about 30 ticks. I got about 7.5 points on that. I should have not moved my stop to break even so quickly. Should have waited. Yeah, do you see how aggressive that was, guys? That candle right there, how aggressive that? I mean, that's what I'm looking for. We grabbed liquidity here. We ran into there. That was a nice setup. Now we can look at this as a potential breaker. See if it wants to come back down in here. 5 minute, we just stabbed into the 5 minute fair value gap sitting right here. Who took that? I pointed that out earlier, guys. I told you that's what I wanted. Give me a 1 if you took that. I mean, I pointed out well before 30 seconds, so you should have been able to see it on your charts if you're watching your own charts, and then hear me 30 seconds later get into it. So I'm just curious if you guys took it. Sweet. I'm glad you took it, Max. That was a play. Lessons on my end for execution is I shouldn't have moved my stop to break even so quickly. I moved it when we first hit this level here. And it just came down, wicked me out, got back in up here, and then got it for the stab of liquidity. But wasn't sure, so closed out quickly. Mags, I'm the same way. That is something that just takes time, and I'm still learning as well on. And I know what I should have done, but I'm dealing with the loss yesterday that I was just a little too jittery. So Robert, to answer your question, I should have moved my stop. Really, your stop should have been either from this high here. Once we wick above that, I would have moved my stop to break even. So let's go to the 30 second. Maybe it'll give us a little indication. Okay, so this is why I got stopped out. Okay, so I got in on this close of this candle right here. That's where I was in at. I had my target set for there, and my stop would have been a close below that, right? So as soon as we hit this first high, or I should have waited for a swing high. There is not a swing high here. I just went based on this first candle's high. I moved my stop to break even, which technically that's not the rules. The rules are when you hit this swing high, a swing high, you move your stop to break even. Even when we go down to the 30 second, I thought, well, maybe it's, a swing high in the 30 second. It wicked above here, and when it wicked that high, I moved my stop to break even. As you can see, it came back down and closed, and then it wicked lower into, it took out my stop, and then it exploded higher. So that's why I missed out on that. If I would have waited for my stop to be hit here or move my stop to break even here, I would have still been in this trade, and that would have been 24 handles if I was able to hold through some of this drawdown or this, this little bit of a pause right here and run for that swing high. It'd have been 40 handles. So definitely opportunities for me to grow as a trader on this trade, but we waited for the right setup. It presented itself. It was clear and obvious. We took it and it ran, and it gave a beautiful setup that now, as we continue to wait for setups like these, we're just going to get better and better and better because we've seen what price does. We know what it looks like, and yeah, we'll get bigger wins. So I got a 10 handle win, basically a little less than 10 handles when I could have taken 40. I'm not going to complain about it, but I would have really liked to have a 40 handle win. That will be better. We'll get that over time. But if you're just joining us, I called out a 40 handle play. I only got 10 handles of it because I got stopped out from my execution on how I decided to handle the trade. But we had right here on the 1 minute, we had the close of this 1 minute fair value gap, closed above it, targeting this high. If you didn't move your stop loss to break even, and you kept your stop at the swing low right here, and you targeted that high sitting right there, that would have been 24 handles in 2 minutes. 24 handles in 120 seconds. So, decent move. Decent. Now, could we run these highs? Could we run these equal highs? Maybe. All right, now that we've had this trade, let's do this poll one more time. I'm curious. So 30% had not taken a trade. So basically 3 out of 10 did. So I'm guessing everybody on stream has probably taken at least one trade now after that sweet setup. I mean, that was a nice setup. You could have, look where it went to. It went to these lows. Market maker sell model. We played the retracement of it. I mean, your opportunity, if you left a runner, you could have got 66 handles on that. Who wants to go short right here? No, I'm not doing it. I mean, your target would be somewhere around there, but I'm not taking that. I would take another inversion from here. I would be interested in that. DDT, I am an entrepreneur. I'm a realtor. So I don't have a full-time day job. I'm a realtor. That's my primary income. I felt from the Lord about 18 months ago. I had a dream about the real estate market. And since that point in time, I felt I felt the conviction of the Lord to start diversifying, look into other things, and my heart landed on day trading, and I found a new desire in my heart to teach people how to break free from employment. and become financially free. So I've been trading now for 2 years. I've been studying ICT for 1 year, and trading does not support my family completely yet. All cards on the table. My primary income is real estate as a realtor. I like this. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I was muted. What was I saying? Oh, I was asking Lescan. Hey, Lescan, is that legit? 256 and 25 cents or points? Is that legit? And then Sons of Rhythm, I do not use initial balance. And then I asked Robert, where are you located out of if you're a realtor? Where are you located out of? All right, let's see what happens here. I did like this. If we purge this low and then we're aggressive, I would 100% play that. Just like this. Why just like this? Do you see how aggressive this candle was? If we get something like this on a fair value gap, I'm interested in that. Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, as in Atlanta. I'm in Nebraska if you want to send anybody to Nebraska. A little referral. Lescan, for real. If you're still on here, Lescan, is that a legit fun fact? That'd be crazy. Let's jump to the let's look at the 15-minute. Do we have a change in state of delivery? All right, so on the 15-minute, this is the candle that purged this low. Look at that candle, 15 minutes. So we technically, on the 15-minute time frame, do not have a change in state of delivery. Okay, that would be the change in state of delivery level right there. Okay, all the way up here. It'd have to close above this on the 15-minute time frame. If we drop down to the 5-minute, this candle right here was the first to break this, and let's see if we had a breaker set up on this that I didn't see. All right, so that was the only one. So technically, this would be considered the breaker. Here is that level right there. This is actually I should take that back. That's not a breaker. That's a bullish order block. Yep, the chart. I chart the NQ results in a spreadsheet. Doesn't always happen like that because, you know, average, but it helps to know the odds. So if you chart this less, I'm going to ask you something. Okay, look at that. There's the OB stack. This was the change in state of delivery, and it's also the market structure shift when we broke above this. So now this would have been, this is technically our breaker bar right here. Okay, this is technically our breaker bar. I mean, I don't know where price wants to go now. We've seen some really heavy price action. This looked like just an aggressive retracement so far. We'll see if it wants to continue higher. I mean, I think I'm hanging on too hard to these to bullish price action. I think I am, to be honest. I think I probably need to let it go and start looking for shorts. But Les, let me ask you this. How often do you see, what is the percent between 50% of the opening range gap being filled and 100% of the opening range gap filled? Were you talking about the opening range gap? Maybe you weren't. Fun fact, the opening range, you're talking about the opening range. Okay. So you're not talking about the gap itself, correct? That's cool. I don't chart that. I think that's cool. I think it would be interesting for somebody. I'm not a numbers guy. I try to be. I'm not a numbers guy. I do some, but I'm not like super consistent on doing it for a long period of time. What I would be interested in is looking at the regular trading hours, looking at this gap. I'd be interested on knowing how often is it completely filled and then run the other direction if it's completely filled and then continues lower, compared to if it only fills halfway and turns and runs the other direction. So in this case, if we're bullish, does it only fill it halfway and then go, or will it fill the whole thing and then run the other way if we're bullish? If we're bearish, same concept. Do we only come up halfway and then continue lower, or will we fill the whole thing and then go lower? That would be interesting to know. All right, there's the 1 minute close below barely. No, it didn't close below. It closed it. Yep, it didn't close below. You can see it right there. So no close below on that. I don't know what it's about. It's weird. In regards to my stream, it seems that I get about an hour and a half in, I get a surge of more viewers. It's weird. Up till an hour and a half, it's like the algorithm says, oh, he's been on for an hour and a half. Let's just push another. People have been sitting in his stream for, whatever, 20 minutes. Let's send more people his way. It's weird. Because we just got a few more new people joining. Passing on blessings. Thanks, Robert. All right, so there's the close at 11:09. I'm not taking this trade. Let's watch it. Your close would be here. Your initial stop to break even is all the way down here. So that's really low. That's really low. So you got to ask yourself, when do you want to move your stop to break even? At this point, as soon as I break this low on the next candle, I would probably move my stop to break even. All right, as soon as we break that swing low right there, I would want to move my stop to break even. I don't know who TBJ is. All right, so, oh, almost. Stops to break even right there. And let's see if we want to run all the way to that swing low right there. Thanks, DTT. Have a great day, man. We'll see you. I'll be here tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow if you want to join. Oh man, look at that aggression, man. This is a nice. I said earlier, I said I probably need to change my bias to the downside. Look how aggressive, and these are flowing right now, man. These are nice trades. Barely any drawdown, and it's moving in our direction. I wish I took that trade. That's a beautiful 27 handles. This low will be 33 handle move. Holy cow. I mean, it's clear that I should have changed my bias earlier. At the beginning of the day, my bias was bullish, and we took the only bullish clear move of the day, but it's obviously bearish. New to futures trading, if you have time, can you break down the difference between ticks and handles? Yes. And then Matt, give me a thumbs up if you're still on here. I'm gonna go over my setup for you like I told you I would. All right, the difference between ticks and handles, Robert, is basically a handle is 4 ticks, a tick is 1. So if we were to look at the numbers on the right of my screen, you're going to see price right here from 19,909. It then goes to 25, 50, 75, and then it goes to 910. Every single one of these price levels is a single tick. A handle is from every whole number to whole number. So 909 to 910 is one handle. 909 to 910 is 1 point. 909 to 925 is 1 tick. Holy macaroni. That would have been nice to be a part of. We called out that one in stream, didn't take it though. Do you guys see some of those guys on Twitter that says called this out on stream? If I did that, I mean, I would have had I probably have 600 handles worth of moves in this in stream. I called this out. Yeah, I called it. Yep, I called that. If you wanna get those awesome call outs, get in, join my stream, pay my $500. Yeah, I called a 66 handle move. What they mean is they talked about it, but they weren't confident enough to take it themselves, and it played out. I don't post that crap. I would rather take the trade and make the money than brag on social media that we called it. I mean, did I really call that? No. So the question is, if I quote unquote called this out on stream, and I'm seeing other people say they called this on stream, did they say it the way I did in my stream, where I wasn't 100% confident? I decided not to take it, but then it played out, and 66 handles is there. That's probably my guess. Called this one. Called that one. How many did he call that didn't work out that he didn't take? Just saying. There's a few of those out there that I watch and I just kind of roll my eyes. Oh, Les Can, yeah, yesterday yesterday was a subliminal tilt day. Subliminal meaning I thought I was in control. Subliminal meaning kind of under the radar. And the truth was I was on tilt. It was a very sad day. So now, if any of you, and probably many of you have, you've probably have seen the video I did on Matt Trades. I did 2 videos on him. They by far got the most views on my channel, and most of my viewership has come from those 2 videos. But when I look back at him, and I look at his first biggest loss, which was $90,000, and then like 3 weeks later, he blew his accounts. Between there, from his first major loss to then him blowing his count, when I correlate that to where I'm at right now, I had one of my biggest losses on a collective scale of my accounts, $9,000. On an individual account, just $1,000. Totally doable to get out of. It's just going to take me 2 weeks to get out of it. If I follow my rules, I cut my size in half and everything. That's probably about a week to 2 weeks to get out of it if I am diligent on how I trade. Now, this, I believe, I'm in a defining moment in my trading when I look at what happened with Matt. You have a major loss, and sometimes people don't recover. I will recover. I'm confident on that. If I follow my rules, I believe in myself, I keep that confidence level high, that's not the type of trader I am. That was a fluke. Just don't associate myself with that. Get rid of that whole identity that you make these crap trades, and stand on the principles that you follow your rules, you do the right things, and standing on that, I'm confident. I'll be able to get out of it. But I believe I'm in a defining moment because of that on how do I respond appropriately, and am I going to come out on the other side? So time will tell, but I am confident that it will be in my favor. So very, very unique time. It's kind of fun to see the correlation between the two. The correlation between Matt Trades and where I'm at right now, and being able to identify that, I believe, is huge, because most people wouldn't identify that. They still have those lingering feelings of negativity from the previous day, and they go into their next day trading having those lingering feelings. It's sitting there like, I don't want to mess up. What happens? So I've addressed those, and I'm confident that I've moved on from that. Now my trading today, I still saw glimpses of yesterday's fears in today's price action because I moved my stop too quickly. I should have not, and I could have walked out with 20, 30, maybe even 40 handles on that trade. So that's my thought on that. So hang on. I have a child just staring at me through the window. Oh man, that's funny. I got my boys. They have a Nintendo Switch, and I got them Legend of Zelda. And I don't play video games as I used to anymore, but I decided that I'm going to. My kids are like 12, 9, and 8, and so they're all excited about it. And I played it. I'm playing a campaign, and they're playing their own individual campaigns. And so I wanted to surprise them and show them that I'm beating them all in their campaign because they think they're the best ever. And so my child, my oldest son, came to me freaking out because he realized that I just played a lot last night. To be honest, I was playing the video game because I wanted to get my mind off of what happened earlier that day. That's what that is. Okay. Hey Les, if you chart some of that, the regular trading, the new day opening gap, I don't use new day opening gaps from very long ago. ICT talks about using those for the 3 or 4 days, but that's about it. We still have, this is sell side liquidity sitting right here. Let's go to the 15-minute on that. There's your 15-minute market maker sell model. Our next stage of liquidity is sitting right here. $19,830. Interesting. That's definitely interesting. Less. All right. Yeah, I think we're just going to push lower. If you wanted to try to capitalize on some of this, you wait for some type of retracement and you take another inversion down. So what we talked about right here is what you would do. And you take this same concept until it fails, right? If we're going to just keep pushing lower to some of these levels, then we need to play these levels off of an inversion to the downside. I took the 2-minute. I was bullish on the day, Ryan, and I took that. I moved my stop too early. I took it to I moved my stop to break even after we ran the 1039 high or level, and it got stopped out. Once we closed above that, I got back in for the high and just got about 10 handles. And then I called this one. I called the 1-minute short to the downside, and I didn't get in it because I'm like, oh, well, let's just see if we find support here and we want to continue higher. I was stuck on these equal highs. I'm like, there's 2 obvious equal highs that I saw. I'm like, oh, well, if we ran those and then we started dropping, bro, I would have been riding that rodeo all the way down. I would have made some nice cash on that. But missed this 1 minute. I put it out on stream and watched 27 handles just get tagged super easily. I'm like, I was like, I should have switched my bias a long time ago. I should have just switched my bias because all of the nice setups are running to the downside. Yeah, this 1109 candle was kind of indecisive, so I could see how that would create some confusion on. Oh, I wonder if it's just going to turn right here and run the other way. Were you on, Ryan, when I shared that I had a confession to make? I went on tilt yesterday. $1,000 per account. Went on tilt. I call it subliminal tilt. I thought I was under control. Nope. No, yesterday was horrible price action. And I don't know why I stayed on. I should have got off a long time ago. But that's all right. This is a defining moment of, am I going to allow what happened to influence my trades today and moving forward to get out of it? And I'll get out of it. Yesterday I saw that everybody lost big money. Peter, yeah. I did see some of that on Twitter. Those that actually posted it, you know, there's some people that just won't post losses. I appreciate those that do. And that's why I'm like, I'm gonna share this on Scream. I'm gonna share this on stream because I want people to know that I lost. I think it's important. The key is to avoid all this is one and only. What is one and only? I don't understand. Oh, got it. How's that, Peter? See how price is slowing down here, guys? See how it's just doing this? I think I'm going to be done for today here shortly. I don't want to, I'm not going to mess around with that. I got other things that I can do and get done. By avoiding any trade at all till the afternoon. Honestly, I mentioned that, but I still lost money in the afternoon too. Yeah, I mean, I've had some decent success on non trading news as long as I didn't follow my rules. If I followed my rules, I would have been at a break even. If I followed my rules on a no news day and I traded what I traded, I would be at break even. In fact, I could have been up $100 on every account because I took a trade really close to the open. It worked out and I got out and I could have been done right there, but because I was going on stream and I had other people watching, I'm like, oh, well, it's, only 9:30. Maybe I can take some more trades. I shouldn't have done that. I want to see it hit this level. I just kind of want to see what reaction we're going to get right here. I'm guessing we're not going to get a reaction considering we just had some major drop. We'll probably hit some consolidation. We'll probably have an aggressive candle to the upside and then it's going to stop. And then we'll just consolidate. So I think I'm going to call it here a day, guys. I'll be on tomorrow. Thanks for joining. I'm glad you guys were here with me today. Thanks for joining. I'll be on tomorrow, 9:20 New York time. I'll be here hanging out with you guys. So we'll see you tomorrow.